of the pump station, how would that affect our water?
I mean, typically what happens when we have a leak, which we've only had one in our history in the Village of Mundelein, the water surfaces usually on the roadway, and then we remediate the leak. But it shouldn't have an impact on your well.
So just for fun, if this facility is approaching our subdivision that does have a community well, so it will be not too expensive for all of us to hook up to Lake Michigan water.
If you would work, in order for you to get water from us, it's very unlikely, to be just completely upfront. The way that would happen is if you could convince the county to provide water to you, take over the well and provide water. The Lake County is one of our members. So then we would provide water to the county. The county would then charge you to build the facilities to get water from our pipe to your subdivision. But it would be, it's very unlikely because the size of your community just wouldn't. It'd be economically very challenging, I think, for you to afford them.
But it's in our subdivision, so
Yeah.
we suffer the most, and Lake Zurich comes out on top of Lake Michigan water.
Yeah, it's one of the things with, as we've put in 55 miles of pipeline throughout the county, there's been many subdivisions we've gone through that have said, hey, what about us? Can we get some water? And we simply can't. We're set up as a wholesaler. So we sell water to big towns like Gurnee. I send them one water bill. So we're a wholesaler, we can't handle smaller subdivisions. So what you're saying is accurate. The pipeline is going to go along easements that we'll obtain that are partially through your subdivision, and it is true that you'll be unable to hook up to our water system. You would have to get it to another municipal system.
And how would that happen? If need be.
You would need to contact the county or work with a community to get annexed or whatever that, that's how you would do it.
Maybe what we can do is supply contact information from Lake County and or the Village of Mundelein, and maybe that would be the best approach to ask how we go about going down that route.
So we have to go through the Village of Mundelein?
It's not necessarily Mundelein, but you'd have to seek out, I think, Lake County.
It would be a county, or the way someone gets water from our system who's adjacent to a town is they would, if it's a lot, for example, they annex into the town.
So do you have to sue the water that's going east on 6083 that's providing that office building with water and sewer?
We provide water to whatever's in the Village of Mundelein is getting our water.
So it is going to that office
So,
building.
yeah, and that's really the case.
What about noise?
Noise?
Yeah, because I went to a school that was next to a water treatment facility. You can hear those pumps and everything like that. We've done work at places nearby water facilities, and it makes a lot of noise.
So I would invite you could reach out to me. I will take you to our pump stations, and I will follow you as you walk around the parcel. And you'll hear that our stations are quiet, and they meet all Illinois sound emission standards.
But what's the standard?
The standard's very specific decibel level, depending on the hour of the day. So when we do sound studies on our parcels, when we build facilities, because this is a concern, especially in Lake Plum, and we go to the property line, we bring in engineers, we measure the sound over a lengthy period of time. We have to actually filter out the sound of birds, because birds exceed the emission standard, and of crickets, and you can see them on the sound card, and we will make sure that the sound meets all the Illinois emission standards. We have to, we're a governmental agency.
But standards to what, commercial standards?
There's a commercial and there is a residential, that's a good point. So whatever this area is, we'd have to meet whatever standards are for that area.
It's mixed zones. You have residential, you have commercial, you have commercial in front. So these are standard residential standards, commercial standards, or what standards to the water treatment.
I don't know, we haven't gotten that far yet, so I can't answer that question. but I'm happy to get that far. It'll meet the standards for whatever standards apply to that area. But the pumps are in a brick building.
But it's still noisy, right? So you have a house right there, your house is behind.
It's hard when it comes to sound standards. The best thing I can suggest, and I know it's a trick for you, but if you come out to the water plant, we'll take you to our Rooster pump station, our other station in Libertyville, and you can judge for yourself. You will not hear the pumps outside.
So this property was your only option?
It was our best option.
Why was it your best option? Because there's plenty of open properties around there, next to the train tracks, in the shopping mall, other places that are not residential that this would fit better in. Why in a residential area, I guess?
I mean, hydraulically, it's the best fit for the pipeline, so from a.
These other properties are less than a quarter of a mile from this building. 500 yards, but we're talking six buildings down. Could have been a totally different.
Are you going to supply the building that they're trying to put on the other side of Willow Spring Road? Because they're trying to, the Village of Mundelein is trying to put commercial buildings on, like housing in residential area, so you are giving the water to them too?
It wouldn't come off of our pipeline, but if they annex into the
You
building.
said that it's Mundelein, well, it's
Yeah, if they
Mundelein.
annex into Mundelein, then I would imagine yes.
Okay, you put a picture of nice boy with the water. You didn't say anything about pluses and minuses. What do we get? Our subdivision from your pump station. And what about vibration? Because it's not only the noise. And don't tell me that there won't be vibration, because I'm sure somebody, the neighbors by the pump station will feel something.
I don't think they will, because we monitor all the vibration on our pumps. We monitor it at multiple levels on the motor. We can't have vibration because we have shafts that go down in the water. They can't vibrate. So it's all vibration monitored.
Well,
We don't have vibration.
I'll tell you, in perfect life, but life is not perfect, and this is the biggest concern, noise, other effects that you're not talking about it. The presentation is pretty shallow.
I'm
You know
happy
what
to
I'm saying?
Yeah,
But one time going to your property we don't know what to look for. We have to educate ourselves. You're not talking about pluses and minuses. There's a reason why people don't want this stuff in our, because this is commercial, it's not residential. Why are you picking the residential area to put stuff like this?
it was zone C2.
Like the lady was saying, one of the neighbors, you have many properties around and you have to put in our neighborhood. What is the value of our properties if somebody, we live in Long Grove, and is the value of our subdivision will go down? It will. If somebody hears that there is a pump station, that they're trying to build other things around us, you're not talking about that.
Why we're wary of this too is Mundelein wanted to put in a car wash, which they already put in a car wash across from the car wash they wanted to put in. Now they want to put townhouses. But with this car wash, we were guaranteed no decibels as far as sound, lighting. We wouldn't hear a thing. We would like to. So that's probably our concern and why we're wary of being told we won't hear a thing, the lighting's going to be minimal.
How many feet in from the actual 6083 from the street in to the subdivision areas, into those residential areas? How far in is that main? How many feet? Can you talk about that?
The water main?
Yeah, how far in from the roadway? Is it right up against the road?
The water main would be between the edge of the shoulder to 20, 30 feet in the property.
So 20, 30 feet in off the street
off the street.
would be the main.
So if you can picture like the swale line,
Yeah.
the right of way, that's where we typically would like to place the pipe. So it's not going into the back end of the property, it's right along the roadway.
Yeah, of course, but I just wondered how far.
I have a question. So our neighborhood is not set up with any type of city water at all. So
Right.
if we have drainage and our neighborhood is filled with springs, if something catastrophic happened here, where does the water go?
Usually,
Is it gonna go into my Chico's yard? And flood his yard? I'm just curious, what happens if something emergency happens at a pump house? Like typically in a situation, it'd be somewhere commercial where there's city drainage, right?
right.
So
we
That's
have,
not here, right?
we have pipelines that go through backyards, resident. I mean, when you're putting in 55 miles of pipeline, really, not everyone wants you there, but nonetheless, we go through yards. We're all over the place. So yes, if there's a leak, the water will surface, and we'll have to remediate, correct whatever happened, and we'll have to return it to as like a better condition.
Do you typically see pump houses in residential neighborhoods next to houses on each side?
Sure,
Can
we don't.
You don't.
But Village of Libertyville, for example, it's right in the neighborhood where I live in Grays Lake. It's right next to the school with a house on the other side. It's pretty common. Yeah, this, I wish, I know it's a one-time only. You come out and see it, you're like, yeah, well, that doesn't tell anything. But I think we're gonna be a great neighbor. We have neighbors in Lake Bluff, $5 million home, $3 million home, got a pump station. They're very happy with us, you know why? Because we're very quiet. Because the other things that could have gone there may not have been as great. So it's a pump station, brick. Inside, the pumps are just operating, humming along, providing water to Lake Siller. I just think we're gonna be quiet. We will plant trees, do what we need to do. We'll have a decorative fence around it just for security reasons. We wanna be a good neighbor. We're not trying to battle you. We wanna get your input. We're getting it. That's good. And I think that it's,
What is the lighting like? Because I live behind a business on Osage. I live behind a business that's also on 6083, and they have like code lights.
yeah,
But when there's no foliage, okay, every window on the back of my house is,
you get the light.
yeah, so we have blackout shades and curtains because the code lighting. In the wintertime, I don't even have to turn on a kitchen light at night because the business lights my kitchen. So that is a concern for a neighbor. So I don't know what the lighting is like, and is there, if this is considered, this project goes through, is that something you're gonna consider for your neighbors, dimming the lights at night?
100%, we will have a minimum amount of light. So,
Minimum, okay.
so what that means, in I'll give you Lake Bluff an example. In Lake Bluff, we have to follow the dark sky standard. So it's something Lake Bluff has adopted. It's to minimize light pollution.